Hello there, this is Ken Barron from the National Association of Black and White Men Together. I'm coming to you from Long Beach, California. And since we're fast approaching the general election, this is Friday before the election, we remind you that we produce videos that urge for our members and allies to vote and vote for candidates who back our values. But even after the election, no matter who wins, we at the National Association of Black and White Men Together will still fight for our rights, including working against racism and homophobia. With that in mind, we will follow the politicians and the activists to ensure the following platforms are addressed fully. COVID-19 is an existential threat to our nation and to the world. We should have at-home instant tests and tests in hospitals and elsewhere. We should organize thousands of Americans to contact and trace and protect the at-risk populations. The government should provide clear, evidence-based guidelines and the resources for schools, small businesses, and families to make it through. Let's ensure everyone in America receives the protection and the care they deserve, and consumers are not price gouged with new drugs and therapies, and they come to the marketplace knowing full well they'll get a fair deal. And every American should wear a mask when they are around people outside their household, and governors should make that mandatory in their states. Next, we should ensure health care is a right for all, not a privilege for just a few. There should be a public health insurance option, like Medicare. If your insurance isn't doing right by you, you should have another better choice. This is whether you're covered through your employer, buying your insurance on your own, or going without coverage altogether. Also, 14 states have refused to take up the Obamacare's expansion of Medicaid eligibility for an estimated 4.9 million adults. Ensure that these individuals get covered by offering premium-free access to the public option for those individuals who will be eligible for Medicaid, but for their state's inaction. In addition, because Medicare covers so many Americans, it has significant leverage to negotiate lower prices for its beneficiaries. Make this possible now. We need a plan for Black and Brown communities such that they would close the racial gap and the income gaps. It needs to expand access to high-quality education and tackle racial inequalities in our education system. It should strengthen America's commitment to justice, make it right to get your education as you think you should get. Increase our support for historically Black colleges and universities is important. And for minority services, serving institutions, that will be great so we can train our next generation of African American professionals. The Justice Department should prioritize prosecuting hate crimes and address gun violence in our communities that are just as devastating to survivors and to victims' families. These daily acts of gun violence disproportionately affect communities of color. We need to combat the epidemic of violence against transgender women, especially women of color, as a direct response to the high rates of homicide of transgender people particularly transgender women of color, they need protection. The Equality Act needs to be passed to reduce economic barriers and social stigma, and the LGBTQ Essential Data Act should be passed to help collect a wide variety of critical data about anti-trans violence and the factors that drive it. Most importantly, demand equal rights for all at LGBTQ events and people and communities, and fight to ensure our laws and institutions protect and enforce their rights and advance LGBTQ equality around the world. Whether there is a Democratic or a Republican House, Senate, or President in 2021, we should be steadfast in our fight for our lives. As Nelson Mandela said, a fundamental concern for others in our individual and community lives would go a long way in making the world a better place we so passionately deserve. This is Ken Barron, hoping you voted or will be voting next week. And remember, after all settles and we get what we think we'll get, and it's good, and then please make sure you fight for further needs in our community. You can watch all of these videos and podcasts on our channels on YouTube. Our website is NABWMT.org, and you can certainly look at us on all of our Facebook. This is Ken Barron. I'm signing off and wishing you all the best. Thank you for viewing this video.